He'd told her right then that the only way he'd ever let Pierce Brosnan play him was if they rumpled Pierce up first, got rid of that prissy foreign accent, then fed him enough chicken-fried steak so he didn't look like the first storm out of West Texas would blow him over. But most of all, they'd have to teach old Pierce exactly how God intended for a man to swing a golf club. All the walking was making him tired. He stopped to rest at a cart selling nuts and candy, bought himself some Jelly Bellies, flirted just enough with the Mexican cutie working there to convince her to pull out the banana-flavored ones. Although he liked his Jelly Bellies mixed up, he didn't like the banana, but since it took too much effort to pull them out himself, he generally tried to talk someone else into doing it. If that didn't work, he just ate them. The British Airways gate was deserted, so he leaned against one of the support columns, pulled a handful of Jelly Bellies from the bag, and tilted them into his mouth, while he thought about things. Mainly how much he wanted to wring the neck of a certain Francesca Saratella de Bodine, celebrity wife of the Antichrist, acting PGA commissioner, and a woman who was supposed to be his friend. "Just do this one small favor for me, Kenny," she'd said. "If you'll take care of Emma for the next 2 weeks, I guarantee I'll talk Dally into cutting the length of your suspension. You'll miss the Masters, but—"
"Now how are you going to do that?"
he'd inquired. "Never question my methods when it comes to dealing with my husband." He didn't. Everybody knew that Francesca didn't have to do much more than look at Dally Bodine to melt him down, even though they'd been married for 12 years. A high-pitched child's squeal, followed by a cheerful British voice, distracted him. "Do let go of your sister's hair, Reggie, or I shall be quite cross with you. And there's no need to carry on so, Penny. If you hadn't licked him, he wouldn't have hit you." He turned around, then grinned as he saw a woman barreling around the corner with 2 young children in tow. The first thing he noticed was her hat, a perky little straw number with a turned-up brim and a cluster of cherries bobbing at the center. She wore a gauzy green skirt printed with roses and a loose-fitting rose-colored top that matched a pair of trim little flats. In one hand she clutched a young boy, along with a purse the size of Montana. In the other hand she held a mean-faced little girl, an umbrella that was printed with more flowers, and a raspberry-red tote bag bulging with newspapers, books, and another colorful umbrella. Her light brown hair curled this way and that from beneath the brim of her hat, and whatever makeup she'd started out the day with had long ago worn off. Which was probably a good thing, Kenny decided, because even without lipstick, she had about the sexiest mouth he'd ever seen. It was wide, with a plump bottom lip and a top lip that held a distinct bow at the center. Despite her frivolous clothing, her jaw was firm, but her cheeks were baby doll round, the bones fine. Her nose was a little narrow, but not narrow enough to make him lose interest, because she also had an amazing pair of thick-lashed, golden brown eyes. He mentally redressed her in a tight top, short skirt, and a pair of stiletto heels, then added black fishnet stockings for good measure. He'd never paid for sex in his life, but he decided he'd be more than happy to throw a little extra cash her way if she ever decided she needed to earn something on the side to pay for her kids' orthodontics work. To his surprise, she looked over at him. "Mr. Traveler?" Fantasy was one thing, reality another, and as he gazed from her to the noisy kids, he got a sinking sensation in his stomach. The fact that she seemed to be expecting him indicated this could only be Lady Emma Wells-Finch, the woman Kenny had agreed to babysit for the next 2 weeks, but Francesca hadn't mentioned anything about kids. He realized too late that he'd automatically nodded in response to her question instead of heading right out of DFW and straight for his caddy. Except he couldn't do that because more than anything he needed to get back on the tour. "Splendid!" She beamed. At the same time, she charged forward, skirts whirling, dragging the children and umbrellas while her newspapers and magazines waved in the breeze and her butterscotch hair flew. Just looking at her made him tired. She let go of the little girl, grabbed Kenny's hand, and began to pump it. For a small woman, she had a lot of pump. "Delighted to meet you, Mr. Traveler." The cherries bobbed on her perky straw hat. "Emma Wells-Finch." The little boy drew back his sneaker, and before Kenny could move, kicked him hard in the shin.
"I don't like you."
Kenny glared at the kid, thought about smacking him, then considered smacking Francesca instead, right after he gave her his opinion of low-down blackmailers. Lady Emma turned to the kid, but instead of wailing,